everybody, this is Tyler here once again from the Character Workshop. Hope you guys enjoyed this new setup that I'm planning on trying to do for future episodes of A Came from England. I got myself a new camera tripod this time, and it's able to go up, a lot higher than before, so that's very neat, and I'm able to do a lot more with it than the old tripod I've been using for like almost a decade. So anyways, so without further ado, today is a very interesting day, and I'm sure some of you probably don't know about it, or if you didn't see my community post from a month ago, but today there is a particular BBC sitcom that turns 40 today, and this sitcom has been voted as the second best British sitcom in 2004. The only other sitcom beating it is Only Fools and Horses. And this sitcom I've covered multiple times on A Came from England, both in the third and fourth seasons respectively. And this particular show stars, Rowan Atkinson, who's better known for playing as Mr. Bean. So, with that very, very long introduction out of the way, I'm talking about Blackadder. So, in the past, I've done basically simple reviews and kind of explained like the plot lines for like literally every episode of Blackadder, but it has been a few years since I've seen any of the episodes from this series, and I thought, in honor of the 40th anniversary of the show, I might as well rewatch the entire series and rank it all from worst to best. Now, by rank it all, there's a catch. My initial plan was going to be ranking every episode from worst to best. However, that was a bit too complicated in my opinion, and plus I feel like if I was to do that, that would make this video end up being two parts, and I personally don't want that, especially for like a ranking or list video. So, I decided to make it even easier and just rank every series from worst to best. So basically, the Blackadder, Blackadder 2, Blackadder the Third, and Blackadder Goes Forth. So I'm only covering the regular 24 episodes that the series had between 1983 and 1989. I'm not going to cover any of these specials or anything like that. No Red Nose Day or Children in Need specials, if it had any, which I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I don't know. But I'm only covering the regular 24 episodes, as always. And I'm going to be ranking all four series from worst to best. So, without further ado, let's get on to what I think is the weakest series in all of Blackadder.
There was definitely an ostrich involved.
I pronounced Blackadder's name wrong, didn't I? Oh shit, I'm recording. Anyway, so number 4 on my ranking of the Blackadder series from worst to best is, not very surprising, the first series, the one that started it all, The Blackadder from 1983. I've mentioned in my review that it was a nice little series, but, given it a rewatch, wasn't really as amazing as I initially said back 3 years ago. It's still not bad or anything, it's watchable, but like, compared to everything else that came afterwards, it's just, I don't know. And also the main reason, like, kind of a personal bias, for me at least, is probably the time period the show is set in. It's set during I believe the reign of King Richard IV, in the late 15th century. So, and I don't know, personally I don't really have much of a interest in, like, that side of history, medieval era and stuff like that. Other thing is, like, kind of the way the characters are, like, kind of portrayed as well. They're not bad per se, but, like, not as good as, what came afterwards. Like, Blackadder, weirdly enough, is actually the more, like, dumb one this time around. Kind of goofy, doesn't really act very arrogant or sarcastic like he does later on. And Baldrick's surprisingly, somewhat intelligent in some cases. And then Percy, he hasn't really changed much between, this and Blackadder 2, which I'll talk about later on. One of the upsides for the series is, some of the jokes I think landed very well. I think when I, did my scores for like each individual episode, in my original review I said the Queen of Spain's beard was my favorite, and it's still my favorite. It's still really hilarious. Another positive, I do like the actor who played King Richard IV. I think his name was Brian Blessed. He did an absolutely, great job, Some people may say he's overacting, but I don't know, I personally liked him. But other than that, like, these episodes for the most part are just, like, not very interesting. Like, if you guys want to hear my, my score, so I'll give a score for each individual episode. Before telling the first episode, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Nice little introduction to the series, but yeah. Born to be Kane, 5 out of 10. Didn't really care for it. Archbishop, 5.5 out of 10. You know, a little bit funnier, especially the one scene where Blackadder was like wearing his get-up, thinking that he wasn't going to be Archbishop when in reality he ended up being. Queen of Spades Beard, 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, my favorite episode of that series. Witch Smeller Pursuivant, 5.5 out of 10. I don't know how to pronounce that P word. I don't know, just not that interesting. My second least favorite episode of that series. And then the Black Seal, 6 out of 10. You know, not a bad finale, but like, you know, the weakest of the series finales. But, and overall I gave Blackadder Series 1 a 5.75 out of 10. Anyways, so that's my opinions on the Blackadder. Now on to the next list. Not next list, the next spot.
Yeah, there was definitely an ostrich involved.
Number 3, and this one heavily surprised me, you know, when I rewatched the episodes and I did the scores for them. And that number 3 spot is very fittingly Blackadder the Third, which was Series 3 that premiered in 1987. I don't know what it is about this that I don't really like compared to, you know, 2 and 4. I think the number one reason why this one kind of like, you know, goes down a little bit for me is like the lack of other characters. Like besides Blackadder, Baldric, George, and I believe Mrs. Miggins, nobody else is really like a main or recurring character. So yeah, I just didn't really find it as interesting as I thought it was. I still like it though. I still like it way more than the Blackadder, obviously, but like, yeah, it's really bizarre. One positive I will say about it is, you know, I think some of the funniest like Baldric and Blackadder like communications or back and forths come from this series. It kind of like is on par with Blackadder Goes Forth with like the best like Baldric and Blackadder interactions. And yeah, so anyways, my score for Blackadder the Third. So the first episode, Dish and Dishonesty, 7.5 out of 10. Ink and A Capability, 7 out of 10. Really interesting plot with, you know, the guy who apparently was writing the dictionary. Knob and Nobility, a 5 out of 10. This one heavily surprised me, but like, I wasn't really that interested in the plot, so my bad. If this happens to be your favorite episode of that series. Sense and Senility, 7 out of 10. Amy and Amiability, 7 out of 10. And Duel and Duality, 8 out of 10. Duel and Duality was an interesting finale. Especially since, spoiler alert, this was the only series finale where Blackadder didn't die. So, yeah, interesting. And I think overall I gave Blackadder the Third like a 6.92 out of 10. And that's only low because of, you know, the Knob and Nobility episode, but I don't think there's really much else to say. But Blackadder the Third, still good. Just ended up not being as great as I remembered it being.
Yeah, there was definitely an ostrich involved.
And number 2 on the list is, very fittingly enough, Blackadder 2, which aired in 1986. This one just barely beats Blackadder the Third in terms of like its score or ranking. But yeah, I love Blackadder 2, you know. Like, somebody actually made a comment in, like, some Blackadder, theme song video I saw on YouTube saying that, like, you know, this was apparently the series, in their opinion, that has the best characters. And, you know, I could definitely see that. It has a very interesting cast of characters. This is when Blackadder, you know, became his, like, arrogant, sarcastic self. This is when Baldric started becoming an idiot and being more of a funnier character. This would end up being the final series to have Percy, but, you know, it's fine. At least we ended up getting George, you know, later on. So, I kind of all, you know, evens out. And also, like, the other side characters. Like, this one has, like, way more side characters than Blackadder the Third did. This had, you know, Queen Victoria, it had Nursey, it had Lord Melchitz. All interesting, you know, characters with, you know, funny moments here and there. I don't think there's, like, a single character in Blackadder 2 that, like, did not have any funny moments. Everybody was spot on. Without further ado, my scores for all the episodes of Blackadder 2. Belle, 7.5 out of 10. Really funny, funny dialogue between, like, you know, Blackadder and the woman who is pretending to be named Bob. I forgot what her real name was. And obviously, Lord Flashheart, he was a huge highlight for that episode. He was played by Rick McHale, the same guy who plays Rick on The Young Ones. Really funny, really entertaining. Which we'll talk about him again later on, which, you know, you'll find out when it happens. Had 6.5 out of 10, funny plots, could have been better, but, it's fine. Potato, 6.5 out of 10. Tom Baker had an interesting guest appearance as, Captain Rum. Kind of a shame his character was killed off early on. Spoiler alert. Wish he was on more. But yeah. Money, 7 out of 10. I remember really liking this episode, especially the moment where, Percy made green, as they call it, even though he was trying to make gold, and he ended up failing at it for some reason. Let's see, beer, I give it a 7 out of 10. This one was pretty funny, especially at the very end where, who was it? I think it was, Blackadder's aunt, who, somebody, I think, said a word that, what was it, pluck or something? I don't know, or luck. Luck. I think luck was the word. And then she, came up and was like, "Oh, luck? That rhymes with..." And then, the credits roll around. It's absolutely hilarious. And then the final episode, Chains, at 8 out of 10. Really cool. This is actually, the first appearance of Hugh Laurie in Blackadder, before him playing George in the third and fourth. Yeah, he played the villain in this episode, and yeah, really interesting. The ending was very surprising because, I think, before the credits, everybody was survived, happy-go-lucky, and then after the credits, everybody was face down, and then you see what you think is Queen Victoria, but it's actually not Queen Victoria. Sorry, Queen Elizabeth I, and it actually ended up being the villain of that episode. I forgot his name for some reason. I don't know how that happened, but anyways, on to what I think is the best series in all of Blackadder, and obviously, since I'm only doing 4 series to rank, and there's obviously only 4 series of Blackadder, you guys probably know what this one's going to be.
Yeah, there was definitely an ostrich involved.
And should come as no surprise. Number 1, my favorite series of Blackadder. Blackadder Goes Forth. Aired in 1989. Honestly, I don't really have much to say about it. It's absolutely fantastic. The humor is at its peak, in my opinion, when it comes to Blackadder Goes Forth. Now, going back to that guy that I talked about, in the last spot with Blackadder 2, they said that Blackadder Goes Forth has the best drama, and maybe in the final episode, but I don't know about the whole series, but because Blackadder Goes Forth, very hilarious all around, really stellar episodes. There hasn't been a single episode that I've rated lower than a 7 out of 10. It's an absolutely amazing series. It doesn't have as many supporting characters as Blackadder as Blackadder 2. It only has General Melchid and Captain Darling, and that's really about it. Although it does have some nods to Blackadder 2, which I really like, so I'll get into those in a little bit of detail. So, my scores for the episodes: Captain Cook, 7.5 out of 10. Don't remember that one very well. I think it was the one where they made art and Blackadder, had a scene where he tried to show George's artwork as his own, and then Darling is yeah, there's 3 things about it that I don't believe it's yours. First of all, you're in it. Second of all, George is signed on here, and there was a third reason. I actually forgot what it was, but yeah, it was really funny moments. Corporal Punishment, 8 out of 10. Very hilarious. In my opinion, a much better version of the Witch Smeller Pursuivant from the Blackadder, in terms of having a court case styled episode. I think this one was a lot funnier, especially General Melchid's overreaction to his pigeon being dead, and also Blackadder's line at the very end where he got upset that Baldric and George almost forgot about trying to save him, and as soon as there was a mission for the two of them, Blackadder's I think I know the 2 people for it, and he has Baldric and George do it. Yeah. Alright, everybody, sorry for the cuts. Nose is being a nose. I don't know. Major Star, 7 out of 10. My least favorite of Blackadder Goes Forth, but it's still a pretty good episode. This episode brings back the Bob character from Blackadder 2, but obviously, in the World War I era. Pretty interesting. Oh yeah, I think I remembered, the joke, there was one joke in this episode where, Baldric was pretending to be Chaplin, dead caterpillar, a dead caterpillar as a mustache, you know, as opposed to growing a real mustache, so that's pretty funny. Private Plane, 7.5 out of 10. This one brought back Flashheart, obviously as a World War I character, and obviously I gotta say he's a bit funnier in this one than he was in his original appearance of Blackadder 2, at least in my opinion. Don't really have much else to say about Private Plane, it's hilarious. General Hospital, I'm also giving that a 7.5 out of 10. Also pretty funny. Especially, I'm trying to remember in particular, like, what funny moments there were in this, because, like, there were definitely a couple. I think it was, definitely, when Darling came in to, like, you know, try to, you know, spy on spy on Blackadder, who's trying to find the German spy, and, you know, Darling ended up being, like, Blackadder's first, like, you know, victim when it comes to, like, interrogating, you know, it's really funny all around, and also the ending with, like, you know, who ended up being the German spies, also really hilarious. Not much else to say about that. And then the final episode of the whole entire Blackadder, Goodbye, also 7.5 out of 10. Definitely a really funny beginning, you know, in a lot of ways. And also I loved, like, the portion with, like, Baldric, like, singing his, like, you know, his poems, especially, like, the German bombs where he just kept saying boom, boom, boom all over again. I don't know, it's really hilarious. And obviously it has, like, one of the more interesting endings to any Blackadder episode where, like, Blackadder, Baldric, George, and Captain Darling go over the trench to, like, you know, start the war, and obviously after that little montage of them, like, you know, kind of running over in slow motion towards, you know, the enemy line, and, you know, afterwards you'll see a shot of, like, you know, the battlefield being empty, and then afterwards is a shot of just, like, a field with flowers on it. It's, this is the part of the series where I can definitely agree with that one guy that it probably has the most drama, but honestly, I don't really think Blackadder Goes Forward is really dramatic per se, but, like, you know, it's stellar. It's, like, my favorite Blackadder series overall. And, oh yeah, overall score for Blackadder Goes Forward, 7.5 out of 10. And I don't think I've mentioned this for Blackadder 2, but the overall score for that one was 7.08 out of 10. Alright, with all that rambling out of the way, that was me ranking every Blackadder series from worst to best. Now, I have no idea how long this episode is. I'm hoping I've reached at least the 11-minute mark. If not, hopefully the intro and outro can help out with that. But who knows? Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed me ranking every Blackadder series from worst to best. If you guys have watched all 4 series of Blackadder, what is your ranking? What do you think is the best series? What do you think is the worst series? Favorite episode, least favorite episode, favorite characters, mind you. Who's your favorite characters? Personally, for me, I think I might say Baldric. Especially, you know, 2 to 4 onwards. Blackadder 1, we don't talk about him. Anyways, so, I don't really think I have much else to say. Also in the comments, let me know what you guys think about this new setup. I do plan on doing this for future episodes of A Game from England, so let me know in the comments what you guys think. That is about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more episodes of Cave from England, or just be no good plush content in general. Also, be sure to turn on the notification bell so you get notified each time I upload a new episode of A Game from England, or any of my videos at all. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. That is about it. This is Tyler from the Character Workshop, signing out. Next episode, we are going to go back into Season 2 of Doctor Who to talk about another pure historical. But will it be as good as stuff like the Aztecs or the Reign of Terror? Only one way to find out. You're coming with me, buddy.